guys, it's me again. Today we're going to cover 10 facts about the US, and just a little disclaimer, nothing I say here is to be taken in a personal way. I'm not trying to be offensive towards anybody. These are just things that I heard other people saying, and these are like my own experiences while in the States. But I'm not trying to be offensive. I just wanted to let that clear. So, let's get into it. Fact number one, Americans are rude and loud. Rude, I would say definitely not. They are very friendly, very approachable. They are just not as formal as Europeans, for example. So that's why I think a lot of people in Europe, they say they are rude because they don't have all that formality that most Europeans are used to. Um, Loud, yes, again, like it depends a lot. Here in Brazil, we are loud, so we don't really see the difference. But if you go to some countries in Europe, then yes, you will totally hear like the American in the crowd talking because people are a lot quieter there. But then again, it depends a lot on the country that you're in and what kind of standards you're uh, taking as measurement. So, moving on to number two, Americans eat too much fast food, and that is definitely true. Like, I have never seen so many fast food chains in any other country I have seen as I've seen in the States. Like, there's so many different options, but there's actually a reason for that. Buying fresh food in the States is actually more expensive than eating fast food. So imagine you work all day, you get home, you're tired, it's a lot easier to stop at a restaurant, get the food, throw out the packaging, and be done with the day than to go home and cook and all that stuff. So it's not healthy. It would be better if it wasn't like that, but unfortunately it is. But it's kind of understandable. And let's move on to fact number three, Americans are lazy. Um, that is a little true compared to other places just because in America you have so much technology, you have like so many electronics that are cheap and easy access that people end up getting really dependent on all that technology while other countries don't have that easy access to it, so we still have to do things in different ways, like I don't know, all kinds of machines that you have at home. Here, for example, they are a lot more expensive. A lot of people can afford. So instead of vacuuming, you're actually going to get the broom and sweep the house. Well, in America, you can find a vacuum for really cheap, even at a used one that still works. So that one, I would say it's true. Number four, Americans are ignorant about the rest of the world, and unfortunately, that one is true as well. Like, of course, there are exceptions, but for the most part, they learn a lot about their own culture and history and geography, and virtually nothing about the rest of the world. So I have heard questions that like completely threw me off. Um, that I didn't hear anywhere else. People in Europe would know these things. For example, we speak Portuguese in Brazil and not Spanish because we were colonized by Portugal. And so, of course, we speak Portuguese. And the ones that have heard of our existence, they think we speak Spanish because we're in Latin America. Um, or if Rio is the capital of Brazil, and these sometimes even come from like educated people that you would hope would know better. But so unfortunately, that one is true. And of course, there are exceptions, but for the most part. Um, Moving on to number five. Americans are gun lovers. Everybody has like this idea of Americans as, I don't know, like a redneck or something, carrying a lot of guns and having basically an arsenal at home. And it is true for some people in some places, but it's not a whole country thing. There are a lot of movements in the States asking for tighter laws, like better laws, like more thought out, so that those school shootings and stuff like that doesn't happen anymore, which I totally agree with that. I feel like if you have educated people with job opportunities and a good police force, you don't really need a gun at home because, you know, you pay taxes so that the police exist and will do that job of protecting you instead of you having to have an arsenal at home. But that's my personal opinion. Um, Moving on to number 6, Americans have large families. And yeah, for the most part, that is true. But I think with life getting more expensive and harder, you know, more violence, more everything bad going on, people are rethinking that. So you see, like a few generations ago, people would have like 6 children and then 4 and then 3. And now basically it's like 2 children, but you already see a lot of couples deciding to have just 1 or even none. But yeah, I think that it was true a few generations ago. Now, not so much. Moving on to number 7, Americans are racists. Racism, unfortunately, and I said that in my previous video, still exists everywhere, which is a really sad thing. I think the difference in America is that Americans are very open about it. Like here, you tell a racist joke, but in a way of a joke. They are just really open when they are racist. They are really open about it, so it's kind of shocking to the rest of us because it's just like, oh my god, you can't say that out loud, and there they do. And but then again, it depends a lot when where you are. If you go to I don't know, like a place like New York City or San Francisco, where they're used with all kinds of people, you know, nothing really shocks them, nothing really impresses them that much. So they will see a black person or a gay person walking by and they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. You go to a small town, and mostly the southern states, and yeah, that's going to turn some heads, but that depends a lot, again, on the person that you're talking to, the level of education of the person, all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, yeah, you still find a lot of racism. Hopefully that's going to go away soon. Sodas in the States are sweeter, fact number 8. And I can compare it to all the other countries, but compared to sodas in Europe or in Brazil, they are definitely sweeter and way larger. Like, I remember when I came back to Brazil and I went to McDonald's for the first time, I thought they messed up my order because I was used to those huge buckets. It's not even a glass, it's a bucket of sodas that you get at fast food chains. And I went to McDonald's, I ordered a soda, and the cup was so small, and I was like, I ordered a large one. And the lady looked at me and she was like, this is the large one. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm back in Brazil then. So yeah, they are a lot sweeter. And they also have a lot more color to them. Like Fanta in Germany has almost no color to it, as Fanta in the States is like this bright orange that you don't really see in other places, or at least places that I have seen. Talking about McDonald's, fact number 9. Does it suck in the States? Compared to the other ones that I have seen in other countries, yes, it does. Like, I remember in Germany going to McDonald's, sitting in the McCafe in a leather chair or a leather couch, getting free newspaper that I could read while drinking my coffee, eating my breakfast. You get amazing cakes and different sandwiches. The variety of the menu is like much larger. And in the States, like the restaurants that I have seen from McDonald's chain, you can't compare it one to another. It's like really not the same. It was really bad. So yes, I would say it does kind of suck. It's not the same. It's definitely not the same. There are a lot of other places better to go to, like In-N-Out, which is my favorite. They have a small selection of sandwiches, but oh my god, they're so tasty. They're so good that it's totally worth it. Fact number 10, is the U.S. expensive to live at? That again, it depends a lot. If you decide to move to, say, New York City, you're going to pay a lot more for a lot less. And if you move to a city that's a little smaller, less known, you will pay a lot less for everything that you have, and you'll get a lot more. Like apartments or houses are larger, cars are cheaper. You can actually have a car, because New York City, to have a car, it's a little complicated. But so yeah, I would say that depends a lot. But usually, if you go to the States, you can have a really decent vacation there, or even move there without spending that much, without breaking the bank. Just, doing a little research before you go, finding a cheap hotel or a motel to stay at. There are some really decent places that you can stay at and not spend that much. But it just depends on where you decide to go. So I would say that Rio is actually more expensive than Dallas or the Fort Worth area where I lived in Texas. Rio is way more expensive. So yeah, we covered the 10 facts about the U.S. and that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me put my little list here. And I will see you guys next Friday. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next Friday. Bye.